Hey everybody, and welcome back to Behind the Score Sports. 30 teams in 30 days as we're getting into the home stretch. Uh, with the nice weather, spring weather today, almost feeling like summer. So I decided to get out the Hawaiian shirt tonight for this episode. Um, so we'll get right into it. We're going to be talking about the Washington Nationals. So the possible 2021 lineup would look like leading off with Juan Soto. He's a left-handed batter, 289 with a 341 on base for his career. Great guy, get on base, has some speed there, and also is a left-handed batter. So starting it off, especially with the pitching matchups, that'll be good to have him starting off. Number two would be Louis Garcia, batting left, 368 with a 446 on base. This guy hits a ton, gets on base more than anybody else on the team. Uh, this guy is going to have some great season this year, and batting behind one of the greatest young stars in the game is definitely going to be a great thing for him. Next person will be Kyle Schwarber, coming over from the Cubs this offseason. He also bats left with a 284, a 367. Average is not great among the top of the league, but he does know how to hit. He's got power. He can get on base, like I said, 367 there. So he's definitely going to fit well in the third spot there to bring some runs home from the beginning of the order. As you notice, the first three batters we had are left-handers, so this is going to be a tough matchup when it comes to pitching. Usually, you'll see the lefties are usually breaking up different spots where the right-handed batters are. But actually, this is one of those lineups where it actually is kind of 50-50. So having a lot of those left-handers at the top of the lineup is definitely going to help them out there. Next, be a veteran of the Nationals, Trey Turner. He bats right, 262 with a 340. He's got average numbers, kind of on the lower end when it comes to this team, but this is going to be a guy that's going to have a great season there, get a lot of RBIs, you get on base, and definitely has that veteran presence on the team. So I definitely see him doing well there and playing shortstop on that side with Carter Kieboom is going to be a good left of the infield. Next one, Yan Gomes, the catcher, batting 314 and a 378. I moved him up in the lineup. You don't usually see too many catchers that high. I've seen some at six, but to have him in fifth is definitely a stretch for most teams. But it's a place where I think with his average and his on base capability is going to help the and benefit the team really well. Next would be Victor Robles. He's center fielder, batting right, 234 with a 359. As you see, his career numbers are kind of on the lower end. So that would be the determination of why he's in the sixth position. Hopefully, he can have a great season and pick up those numbers. Next would be Carter Kieboom, right-hander, 234 with a 327. His numbers are pretty comparable to Victor Robles, so they could definitely move some guys around there. Some versatility in the lineup, should there be injuries or people that need a day off. But Carter Keyboom, definitely be interesting to see what he does this season. He's a young guy, so get a big full season in. Should definitely see where those numbers put him. Hopefully, he can pick those up a little. Next would be Josh Bell, um, switch hitter, batting 221 with a 305 for on base. A lot of people have him at the top of the lineup, either leading off or second. I put him at the bottom. He had a great season there last year, but I think his overall career numbers have shown him not to hit as well. He can get on base though. He does have some speed, so I decided to put him at the bottom to turn the lineup over to the guys at the top. I do see him more likely or not being near the top as they went and they acquired him. So most times when you go and acquire guys, they're usually put into a spot where they can excel, especially with the season he had last year. But if I was the manager and putting it together, I'd probably put him down in the 8th spot there. And because we're in the NL, the pitcher hits. So we have Max Scherzer as the number 9 guy. Utility guys, I have Andrew Stevenson, Yadiel Hernandez, Josh Harrison, and Ryan Zimmerman. As we go and look at the pitching rotation, my predictions for that be number 1, Max Scherzer. He's the ace of the team. I definitely see him getting the start in the opener again. This team is very heavy when it comes to the pitching rotation this year. There's a lot of veteran presence, a lot of winning amongst this pitching rotation. So it'll be interesting if we can get some of the guys in the lineup to pick it up there and have a great season. This is definitely a team that could put themselves in the hunt for the wild card this year for sure. Next is Steven Strasburg in number 2. He's a guy that pitched very well there a couple of years ago. Didn't do quite as well there last year. I think he would even tell you himself that he didn't do as well as he would have liked to. Matt Scherzer had an injury there which didn't help them, so they kind of ended up falling and having a terrible season there last year. One far below than what they were expecting for sure. So next would be Patrick Corbin. A new addition this offseason. Number 4 would be John Lester. Everybody knows him from the Cubs and the winning championship team there. I think he's going to have a great season. And definitely being in the 4th spot and not having the pressure of being the number 1 guy. But I think with his winning ways and veteran presence, he's going to do well with this team. And number 5 would be Austin Voth. Other storylines with this team coming into the season. Lester at the bottom of the rotation to limit starts and stolen bases. I do see John Lester at number 4. He is coming and joining the team as a veteran. But I do see him, just because of the way they have their lineup there, it's been the same. So I definitely see him being slotted farther down. One being his age to limit starts. Um, and also with stolen bases, as everybody knows, John Lester's one of the big ones that has a struggles with throwing to first base. He doesn't do so well with that, so a lot of guys get big leads on him, which isn't always good when it comes to stealing bases. So being near the bottom, especially going back to a full season, I think will benefit him. Strong rotation and above average lineup. Like I said, there's a lot of experience in the pitching rotation. Let's line up if they can all have a great season and come together and put some wins together. I definitely see them as competing for a wild card, but above that, I don't see them challenging for the division. I see the Braves kind of running away with that. So, okay, we see pitcher lineup spot move to 8th instead of 9th. We definitely could see Max Scherzer move up into 8th and move Josh Bell to 9th. That way, kind of put them together with turning over the lineup. But I definitely see Matt Scherzer and the pitchers hitting in the 9th spot to start the season, but that is definitely something that could be played with throughout as they go along. So as we close out this episode, players to watch: Jackson Rutledge, a right-handed pitcher, number 1 in the organization. Cade Cavalli, another right-handed pitcher, number 2. Tim Cate, a left-handed pitcher, number 6. Seth Romero, left-hand pitcher, number 7 in the organization. Drew Mendoza plays first, number 9 in the organization. And Yazel Antuna, shortstop and third baseman, 10th in the organization. I don't see outside with the pitching rotation, I don't see any movements around there. That's pretty much set in stone unless there's a major injury or John Lester doesn't perform as well. But I don't think we'll have a problem there. Some of these guys, especially with Josh Bell, depending on how well they do and where they are in the standings, definitely seeing some of these young guys wouldn't be a long stretch. Near the end of the season, I can't see it being too much during, but like we said, there's always injuries, so you never know what might happen there. But right now, this is what I see for the Washington Nationals and taking second in that division. So anyways, I'd like to thank you for watching and hope you enjoy. I've been enjoying the nice weather as we get ready for the baseball season. I do have 2 events coming up. 27th, I have drafting for my fantasy baseball teams. I'm going to be doing those live on Facebook at Behind the Score Sports. If you want to check that out. And then on April 1st for opening day, I've got the Blue Jays versus the Yankees at 1 p.m. Going to be doing a live during that game. And then later on, the 7 o'clock game, I'm going to be looking to do that on YouTube Live, if I can get that set up. If not, then that'll also be on Facebook. But I'm at Behind the Score Sports on all apps, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. So like, share, comment. I'd like to get to know all of yous and get some good chatter going on when it comes to sports. So Just remember, it's not always what happens in the game. There's a lot that gets talked about behind the score.